Good evening. I want to welcome everyone to this town council meeting on Thursday, July 11th, 2024. Beth Justice is not going to join us this evening. Our town attorney is coming in remotely. Let's have a call to order. Marjorie Austin.
Here.
Larry Tuning.
Here.
I'm here. Alana Courtney.
Here.
Mary Hanson.
Here.
Sandy Sturgill.
Here.
All right, having a quorum, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have some up-to-date information that's associated with contracts, and so I would like someone to make a motion to amend the agenda to include a closed session at the end of the meeting so that we can discuss that.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? Having no discussion, Sandy Sturgill.
Yes.
Mary Hanson.
Yes.
Alana Courtney.
Yes.
I say yes. Larry Tuning.
Yes.
Marjorie Austin.
Yes.
The motion to amend the agenda has been made and approved. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
So moved.
So I have a second on that.
A second.
All right, any discussion on that? Marjorie Austin.
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
I say yes. Sandy? No, all right, Alana?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
All right. First item, we have draft minutes attached for, February 22nd? And is that it, just the February 22nd?
No, in March 14th.
No, in March.
There it is, March 14th. Do I have a motion to accept the, or approve the minutes as presented for those two dates?
So moved.
Do I have a second on that?
A second.
All right. Any discussion? Moving right along. Sandy Sturgill.
Yes.
Mary Hanson.
Yes.
Alana Courtney.
Yes.
I say yes. Larry?
Yes.
Marjorie?
Yes.
All right. Moving on to the reports. Mr. Costin.
Evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, my report as usual, I've had a series of meetings throughout the month. I'll just highlight some of those and some of the more significant issues. As to the pool, operational and construction issues are being addressed as they arise. We've had no substantial complaints on the staff that's working at the pool. And they did report one incident where they had to treat an individual for a scraped foot. In comparison, they say Bethpage, they do about 20 incidents a day. So we're trailing Bethpage in that category, which is a good thing. The library kickoff for their summer reading program was held, and approximately 60 persons participated in that. So they had full access to the pool. The local Kiwanis Club did snow cones, and I highly recommend the lime. The YMCA started their exercise program, and I think there's some folks here that could speak directly to that better than I can. And the swim team hosted its first meet. Now, with both of those events, there were some first-time issues. We've worked through those. There was a home meet scheduled for last Tuesday. That got canceled because of the water temperatures. That's been rescheduled to the 18th. So there's two remaining home meets. The 16th, that's a Tuesday, then the 18th is a Thursday, and then on the next Saturday during the day, in the morning, that pool will be hosting the league championships. So the pool's hours are going to be shortened on Tuesday and Thursday by an hour, and opening will be delayed to approximately 2 o'clock on Saturday. We put all this out on social media and the website, and have physically posted it at the pool.
If I may interject, the pool was too warm. It was above 84
Yeah,
degrees.
yeah. Yeah, it was a water temperature too warm. Yep. And that's weather related. As to July the 4th, 6th events, again, we kind of got hit by the weather on some of that, caused us to cut short some of the items, the events with the thunderstorm on the 4th, and then just the heat. We had to postpone and put off some items on the 6th. One live band performance that was completely called off has been rescheduled for August 31st at Tabor Park, and that's the Saturday of Labor Day weekend, and we'll be doing more notices on that. We've had no progress made on the no wake zone for Urbana Creek. I'm still looking for a ride in a boat to go look at the signs. But we're moving forward with home occupation amendments, the rezoning application for the boundary line adjustment properties, and that's being circulated now for signatures. And we have had several communications concerning the DMV, and that's a topic for later. We had the meeting on June 11th with Bond Council, USDA, Davenport, and others. And from that meeting, a project schedule was devised to include a bond issuance hearing and USDA provision of copies of council action to accept the bid, as well as updating the USDA application, which has now been completed. That's all I have. I'd be happy to take any questions you have at this time.
This is for the water, the last thing you spoke
This is,
about?
yes, for the bid that you all did with Toano.
Oh, okay.
That's part of that USDA package to extend the loan.
Okay.
Yep.
Please tell me why it's taken so long to put a sign up.
I'll be very honest with you. The 4th of July events took a lot of time away, and as we'll be discussing later tonight, we've got a brand-new priority, and that's trying to close on the property. But I have that on the project list to do.
Well, I'm glad to take care of that. I mean, I got a sign person right next to me in Coleman.
I'm this far along. Let me finish it up, please.
Okay,
Okay.
please do.
What sign are we talking about? No way.
At the one at the end of Virginia Street.
Saying
Paid
parking
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
John Marina.
On the no wake, you're just referring to from the bridge to the,
From the bridge out to the creek, those signs that are not enforceable because they've faded or been replaced. But there are some signs there, and I need to put my eyes on them to see how many, what are the locations, because we need to renew those signs.
I
Yeah.
got
Yep. Those are town, that's a town-initiated issue in terms of the establishment of the no wake. We're the ones that have sought and achieved the no wake zone designation, but it can't be enforced because the signs are in disrepair.
and that was through VMRC.
And the original authorization goes back to 73 or something?
I think it was 1973, yeah. Yep,
No wonder the signs are faded?
must be. Maybe the prior town administrator couldn't find a boat to get out there. Just dropping that hint there.
Put you on one of Sandy's jet skis.
There you go.
Take some pictures.
Kayaks are more my speed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Michelle.
Good evening, everybody. In your packet is the May Treasurer's Report. Some of my notes at the bottom was about pool memberships and daily. So what I've done is I want to bring you current to today as to what we have done. The pool membership total is 14,900, and the daily pool to today is 3,885.35. So that's what we're bringing in. Last month, June was like 2,317, so July should be up, it should increase, and we have all of August to go. But I just thought you all would like to know where we really are versus back in May. The other thing that I've done is I'm constantly looking at the past dues. The delinquent real estate is now down to 6 properties. One of those properties, it's a very small amount, like it's a sliver in half's paid by escrow, the other half they forget about. But the other 5 properties do have larger amounts, but the total is only $1,568.32. And out of those 6 properties, 3 of them do have liens placed at 2 years. But at this point, they are now 3 years delinquent. So I'm going to need to get with Andrea and see, what do we want to do next because of the length of time these 3 are delinquent. As to the personal property, that's a way bigger hit. We have delinquencies going back to 2017. We put the DMV stops on, I send out the delinquent notices. But I do believe, from what I've recently learned at the Treasurers Conference, anything over 5 years, we probably are just going to have to write it off. And if we do that write-off, it would be approximately $1,700 for those 2 years. And I have, if anybody would like to see it in detail, I have it broken down per year as to the delinquencies. And believe it or not, this past year, 2023, is the largest. I'm doing the best I can, but sometimes they move, and once they move, and I don't have a forwarding, their mail comes back, and at that point, our only hope is the DMV stop.
Well, do they still own the property?
The bulk of these are renters, so they move in, they move out. A good scenario would be they move out in February, and if I'm unaware of a new address, my side doesn't get updated. And then when I do the billing in October and send it out, at that point, their forwarding has expired, and it comes back. So we try to research, we try to look, to find other alternatives. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. Any questions?
I guess a good thing is we're not talking about a whole lot. 1,500 for real estate and how much for personal property?
The personal property is way higher. The personal property is at a total of 11,689. And 17 of that is 2017 and 2018.
So when do we decide to do away with the,
I'm going to double check with legal, but the 17 and 18, I believe, is just going to be a write-off, because after the 5 years, we can't go after them. Now, real estate, that's a way different ballgame in many, many years.
Can I ask a question about the pool membership and the daily? Does this daily figure include the 4th of July weekend?
Yes.
It does? Okay. I just wondered how much came in there because it was a lot.
So those are the $5 people coming in the door.
Well, if they're in town, 5 or 12 or 8 and 25, it depends, in town or out of town,
25?
for a family out
Oh.
of town.
I was thinking,
Yeah. for
how
a
far out
family.
of town did they come from?
So,
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
I'm kind of not real smart on this. All right, on the water sales, and you get over here and it says May, and May is 7,167, where the month before it was 71,000.
that's because that's Hampton Roads, and water and sewer is billed every other month. So one month we're extremely high. The following month would be the stragglers that didn't pay from the month before.
Thank you.
So water bills, according to Martha, were just mailed yesterday or the day before, so July will be another high month of water.
And how much was the real estate tax again that's delinquent?
Total is $1,568.32.
is the only things we have to offset the 72,000 for the cost of the pool, just those 2 items that you gave?
Unless we get some more memberships or donations.
memberships, you would have thought you got probably most of them, don't you think?
I would think so at this time,
At
yes.
least for this year.
The good news is that at this point, the swim team is reconstituted and,
Oh, yeah.
and people are, you know,
No, no, not
Sir.
looking at negative.
no. I'm just saying that I've been really pleased with the turnout that the swim team had. Looking at the numbers of people that are in Tabor Park when it occurs, because the parking lot is full and the grass area is pretty full too.
And hopefully, I mean, as you said, it's the first one out of the gate. Next year, it would be really cool if we could do events at the pool, like have an adult kind of swim with a DJ or something and charge an extra admission. So there's a lot of potential out there now that the dust of everything else has settled as far as actually getting it open. I think that next year has many possibilities to explore to generate additional revenue.
Right, and with the Y starting to use it, that's a good thing as well.
Yeah, Christy and I both went to the aerobics class, and it was excellent. What do you think, there were 20 people in there?
It is capped at 20.
Yeah.
And there's waiting lists always.
But it was fun, excellent.
Sandy, you're going to hate this. We sit at our desk and watch y'all.
Oh, you did?
I'm only kidding you.
It's on the
We're,
YouTube channel.
we're doing it with you, okay?
So, Michelle, where is, so actually Friends of Urbana have the pool's donation money, we don't have it in here.
That came through and was posted in a different category in the GL. So the actual donations that came in went to the construction of the pool, and these are broken down just to daily membership and
So there's nothing left in that fund for the monies that the Friends of Urbana collected.
There's still, well, for example, still with some construction things, that's what's
Are
paying.
you talking Friends of Urbana, are you talking about the beautification committee?
Beautification.
Yeah, it's the beautification.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
it was Friends of Urbana, I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah. There's a small amount, I can't give you the exact amount, I think it's around 8,000. We're going to do the walkway, and that's 6,500, and then we're gonna see what we have after that. Like to do something with those bricks, but I don't know what to do with those bricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's the walkway from the Tabor Park side around to join up with the walkway that goes to the parking lot.
Yeah.
Then after that, if we have any, we can discuss how we wanna spend it, but I think those sunshades would be a great thing to do.
Right. I didn't know if you still had anything left in that, Sandy, because I was gonna offer
Yeah,
from
hope
second,
people make more donations.
from second Saturday to help with, a few of the, sunshades.
Yeah,
So we did a couple lawn chairs, second Saturday did, for the pool, so, the
We're getting
loungers.
there.
Does the pool close Labor Day for good?
Labor Day.
Labor Day weekend, yes.
Okay, I have a different question, not pool related, but I don't, if there are more pool things. Okay, my other question is if we're concerned about revenues and about deficits, and maybe you've provided this, but I haven't noticed it. Where are we we've got these wonderful events like Second Saturday and the Farmers Market. How much revenue do we get from business licenses and from meals tax and those kinds of things, from those events? Because I'm not sure that I ever see anything that tracks that, and I'm sure it's hard to track, but I'm just asking.
The farmer's market is ran through the UBA.
Okay,
The special business licenses, the businesses that have them, they were due now July 1.
okay.
So in fairness, at the end of July, I'll have a good report for what we took in for the renewing of business licenses. Meals,
Are we monitoring that the vendor, the people that we have come actually actually have business licenses so
Second
that we're
Saturday-
getting that?
I was just gonna say,
Second Saturday doesn't charge a business for business license, nor vendor fees or food tax. It's under the,
Why?
it's under the, it's under the cottage law, and it's done as as just something fun to do.
Okay. I wonder how much revenue we're missing out on.
Probably not much.
in all
It's
reality,
a,
probably
it's a
not.
4-hour event. I mean, you might get $30.
And
It's just not,
I honestly think if we charged them 50, we wouldn't get those vendors.
nope.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Okay.
they're taking a huge risk to come here. Strawberry Street, he was committed to 2 days, and then he only had one.
Right.
Now the Oyster Festival, naturally, that's a way different ball game, and we will collect on those. But the small events like that, I have a few vendors that if they come in for something else, a different event not associated with the town's events, I do positive. I shouldn't say a name. Never mind. They do send in their meals tax and all, and it's like $13, $14.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, it's no.
Okay.
It's-
So
it's-
de minimis.
And the other side of that would be the labor involved to track and keep going after. So one day a month for 4 hours,
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, can I make one more comment about, the pool today when we were down there? Everybody said that we needed a clock on the wall.
Oh.
Because I guess when you're exercising, you think, I got 5 more minutes or something, you know. But I think I'm gonna buy that with the money too from UBI, if anybody doesn't.
Are you talking about a clock like that one?
Yeah,
Or-
like
okay.
that, but.
Well, an outdoor clock.
Hard.
Yeah, you want an outdoor one.
Well, right, I just, in some pools competitively, they'll have one that,
Digital.
is a big dial that shows minutes
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff.
Are they gonna put one of those up?
But they've not said anything. What was that?
does the swim team need that?
They
That
ti- they
will-
time, they do hand timing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, they do hand timing.
Yeah.
yeah, they wouldn't use something like that for the actual meet.
I'm just gonna buy a big clock.
Just a normal everyday clock,
yeah.
outside clock.
Yeah, just make sure it's for outdoor
Okay.
use.
All right, that's all I have.
Thank you,
All right.
Michelle.
You're welcome.
Something, if I can add on it, I want everybody to know, and you can look, it varies back and forth based on market conditions, but the Tabor Fund, as the close yesterday, was back up to 986,000, so
Wow.
we're still tickling $1 million there, which is good. And that's after we paid for the year-end accounting and taxes, so that's all good. All right. Public comment. Anybody sign up for public comment? Christie Anzino.
But I want to do it for the second one.
Okay.
I want to wait until you've done everything.
Oh, yeah, this is for public comment, too. All right. Moving on, old business. Dean B,
Council comment?
well, I thought that would be in
Okay.
response to public comment, which isn't there yet, but.
Mr. Mayor, if I can, I'd like to go off script for a minute and respond to a couple of things relative to the treasurer's report. To the item of tracking, your budget will give you the last several years back, and you can get the total picture of how much revenue, how much expense on any of the line items. So that's one way to track, to kind of look at it from a yearly perspective. From the monthly perspective, that's kind of falls on staff and the finance committee. Also let you know, a lot of the grants and loans that we are looking at all ask for the same thing, which is the audit. And I have been really pushing to get an audit done for 23. And then once we get 23 out of the way, then we'll do an engagement letter for 24, okay? So I'm hoping that maybe at your next meeting or 2 meetings hence, that I'll be able to present at least one audit to you from '23. That's fiscal year, ending fiscal year '23. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, yes, I did watch the pool activities a little bit, but that was only to make sure that the lifeguard showed up. That was one of our snafus. All right, so moving on to what's on the agenda, the DMV select discussion. So DMV has actually suspended their removal of their supplies as the county is agreeable to consider supporting the service given more data. Now, I've provided the county administrator 3 copies of the agreement as it existed, a copy of the town budget relative to DMV, and that shows those past years' activities, and the mayor's research on the financial impact in comparison to other locales. He has passed that information on to the entire board. Other activity has included the engagement by Council Member Austin with the Virginia Municipal League Executive Director, Michelle Gowdy, and she's communicated her thoughts, and that's follows this report. In addition, I have spoken to the Commissioner of Revenue that Ms. Gowdy suggested. She and I spent about an hour on the phone the other day, and she is going to send me some thoughts. I was hoping to have them before tonight's meeting, but they did not arrive. Along with what they have, which is a 3-party contract that's been between DMV, her office, and the county. And it kind of breaks down that DMV is the oversight agency, the commissioner's office is basically the execution of the service, and the county provides financial support. As soon as I get that, I'll send it on. So the staff's recommendation is to schedule a meeting with county representatives and town representatives, and the county administrator and I spoke this morning. We were looking at suggest something next week. But basically, the council action requested is to name myself, the mayor, and Council Member Austin to be the town representatives with a meeting to the county representatives. Be happy to take any questions you have at this time.
Where are you in your discussions? Are you at a point of, has the town, have we formulated what our ask is?
I think that's what this is about for tonight, is for you
Okay.
all to discuss and figure out
Okay.
what that ask
Good.
is. They simply wanted to, make sure that this was a council desire, that they sit and talk, and I don't think it does any harm to have that discussion with them. Yeah.
Yeah, and my discussion with Matt Walker at the MPPDC meeting was that if he wanted to know that it was the appetite of council as a body to engage with them to see what they were willing to do and not just, work with an individual here or an individual there, because he wanted to be like a cohesive message. And that's in part what drove me to come up with some of the numbers that I gave to people last time. I can send you the email, because it's in a structure that I can mail it out if somebody doesn't have that. Tonight at your desk, I put out, when I was doing my research, I looked at places that were sort of our competitors, that being Matthews and West Point. The one in Essex County in Tappahannock is a full DMV, and the one in Kilmarnock is a full DMV, so that's on them. They wouldn't publish what those costs were. But then I just picked some random places like Victoria, Virginia, which is out in the middle of no place but has 1,700 people. And then there's another one on there that
Warm Springs?
Warm Springs is on there, but I think that goes with Warm Springs is Bath County. And when you look at their budgets, West Point, for example, they have it budgeted for $25,000 in income and only budget for $4,000 in expenses. And the reason is because the way most of these places operate, they anticipate that they're going to lose money, and they use staff to rotate through to do the DMV Select, knowing that they're going to have a loss. And a question that I asked each of them was, would this facility function as a standalone? Would you actually be able to pay for it? And the answer is no, they don't pay for themselves, but they are what they consider a necessary evil because it's a real benefit to the community. That being said, that's one of the things that I think is important to engage the county on, is because a DMV Select here benefits the whole county, and then you get into the question of how you apportion the costs, or whether, because we pay taxes to the county, whether they should pick up any losses because we're providing the facility. But that's the kind of discussion that we need to have the will of the council to assess whether we have an appetite to even do the ask, which I would recommend. That being said, you can see, if you look at, on that sheet going across, Mineral is just like crazy busy, where they, through 11 months, they had 48,000 transactions. They're making money, just as a guesstimate of what I did based on our numbers, which was, it's probably gonna end up somewhere around 4,000. If you took the revenue that we actually generated and divided it by the number of transactions, it came out to roughly $4 $4.21 a transaction, okay? And so if you look at a place like Mineral, they're definitely making money, because they would have generated well over $200,000 of money in their pocket, which, you know, absolutely could pay for 2 or 3 people and still make money for their time. If you look at Matthews or West Point or Victoria, they're in numbers that are our level or twice our level, and in that case, they're probably generating about $30,000 a year, and that doesn't pay for one staff member as a dedicated person. And so then the question is, what's the appetite for a loss, and how is it spread? So that's
And then there's the requirement of having more than one staff person.
correct. And like I said, these other places rotate folks through that are already on staff to person the DMV Select, and so their costs are never reflected as a budget item, at least that I can find. They have a
Yes, it's-
projected income,
it's a sunk cost.
but their costs are consolidated in the labor of the other individuals.
Well, I talked to David Showers with DMV
With DMV, okay.
and asked if they would be willing to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And there is an option for that, but it has to go through Barry and another, shoot, I can't think of who she is, the commissioner,
Yeah, and
to be able to do that as well.
As-
So,
as you're aware, Ted asked them, if, you know, what level they would be willing to compromise, whether they would be willing to do part-time, whether they would be willing to have their own people, you know, occupy it, and all kinds of things. And they were like, no, if you can't do it based on the contract that you signed, then we're out. Is that fair?
I think that's a fair
Yes.
assessment. That's why my reaction,
yes,
when I heard that there was this 3-day option, no one ever
That's the
mentioned
same-
a 3-day option to me.
that was the same day I came to you and asked you, told you what they said they needed from the email, when you said you hadn't.
And there's also a possibility
So,
of mobile locations where they show up. That obviously doesn't generate any income for the town, but
Nope.
it also doesn't lose any income for the town, and I don't know whether that would be available.
and they don't
Mr.
come
Mayor,
here.
Can I respond to
Yeah,
Yeah,
Councilmember Austin? When you came in, one of the things that, what we discussed about was the email
yes,
referred to my closing the
Yes,
DMV.
yes.
And I was somewhat taken back that it was
Yes.
phrased that way, that I had closed the DMV.
yes.
And I had a conversation with that gentleman and let him know of my displeasure of the way it was worded. But my point is, at no time in all the times that I spoke to him and said, how about we do this? How about we do this? He never came back with, here's something to think about.
Right.
It was all or nothing.
Right.
So
And
is the
when he had-
3-day option?
When we said, come get your stuff, they didn't, at the last minute, say, well, how about if we do it 3 days a week?
They
I'm
did
just
that.
telling you, I had a
Yeah, no,
conversation.
and that's fine.
A
And then-
3-day-a-week option logically is not gonna create any more revenue, and we're still gonna have the same
gonna have a second
losses.
person.
And
Right, but
we're gonna have the same losses.
Yeah, what we, like I said, with some of these things, the one that was Bath County is taking the hit.
Right, the
when-
county's,
when
the
it comes
county's
to,
taking the loss.
Who was the person, was it New Kent County that you had contacted?
I didn't contact her.
Oh,
that
well,
was-
that was,
I
the-
contacted.
okay, but New Kent County, closer to Richmond, they've got close to 30,000 people, I think it's 29,000 people in the county, and that's being picked up by the county. But if I remember correctly, they only do about, New Kent is coming in at 7,000 transactions.
King William and New Kent are the fastest growing counties in the state.
Right.
So, I mean,
Right, and they're, but even there, they're doing the same kind of level of business as West Point, which is only generating probably in the tune of like $30,000 to $40,000 is what they're generating. So they have to be doing the same thing of where they're sharing, team
Current-
members.
Current staff
Current
are
staff to
providing
cover.
our staffing, and we already have such limited staff. The idea of stretching them even further for something that, yes, it's clearly, it's a service to the community. It is a service to the community.
Right.
But we don't have the budget to support that with, I don't believe.
No, we
And
don't.
to continue to sustain the loss.
We-
And just logically, if it was a 3-day service and we only needed to have one dedicated person to staff the office for that 3-day service, it's also going to be reduced revenue. Because it's not 5
Well,
days
right.
of revenue. So,
Right.
to me, that doesn't answer it. I think our only hope is if the county wants to come in and wants to heavily subsidize it. Provide a staff person, we provide the location, we've already got the equipment.
I did
right?
talk to Anne Marie
And-
about that,
and-
about providing the
and-
person.
And so I think that unless we can make it net neutral, it doesn't make sense to me. We have we're already saying, oh my gosh, our budget and everything else, and we're talking about, $34,000 loss.
Does anybody, what things, there's not very many things that you can't do online, that you have to go to DMV select for.
Correct.
Can't you do almost 95% of the things you need to do?
You probably can
Online,
if your community is, computer savvy and able to do
Yeah,
that. There's a
yeah.
lot of older people here that
That's right.
cannot use or don't use a computer, so.
Plus, there are 3 DMVs within 30 minutes, 3 of them within 30 minutes of Urbana, which I've used one of those for the last 40-some years, and
Yeah.
it's never been a problem.
And
doesn't
I will
make-
admit, I used this one to get something done, and it was really convenient.
Yeah.
to-
Yeah,
to-
it
to-
was.
It was, but if it wasn't here,
But-
but
We
to me,
can't
it's not
afford it.
worth the loss for the taxpayer.
So, anyhow, so I guess we don't really need a motion, do we? Just need to accept the fact that we're gonna set up this meeting.
Nope, needs a
Mr.
motion.
Costin?
I think you ought to have a motion so that
The
the
motion's there.
county knows where the council
Okay,
stands.
okay. So do I have a motion for the town administrator, the mayor, and council member Austin to have a discussion with members of the county on,
Mayor, it's written out. He's got it
Yeah.
written out.
oh,
That's what I was saying.
okay, well then somebody,
I don't know if I can read it, I will, but it's.
well,
I'm-
actually, we'll let.
So I'm part of it, so
Yes, since,
it's at the very bottom there.
Said, I move that the mayor, council member Austin, and the town administrator be appointed as the town's representatives to a meeting with Middlesex County representatives to discuss reestablishing the DMV select in the Balance Town office.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right,
But when can we question? I have a question.
now, because it's back to
Because
discussion.
okay, good. And my thought is, I think that we should add a person from the finance committee.
No.
It's a finance matter. I think
But
we
it's
need
not,
to add.
Bill's
I
on the
am.
finance committee,
Yeah,
and he's part of
Yeah.
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Okay.
so, and we don't want to get too many people. So I think, yeah, I'm covered both as the mayor and finance committee. Marjorie's the one that spearheaded trying to find alternatives, so I think it makes perfect sense with the group that we've got selected.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Ms. Sturgill,
Yes.
Mary Hanson, Alana Courtney?
Yes.
I say yes.
I had a question,
Yeah,
and that is that no decision is gonna be made in this meeting.
Correct.
It's an exploratory meeting, correct?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Okay, then yes.
yeah, okay. Mr. Chuny,
Yes.
Marjorie Austin.
Can I vote?
Sure,
I would
sure.
think not, but yes.
You can.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have any, no personal benefit, I would have to say.
No, absolutely not.
Okay. All right. Got the letters there. The next item was, the last meeting, people wanted to know what was going on with the kayak trail. I did verify that you gotta go through about 4 different clicks, because you have to get to the Virginia Water Trails, and then you have to identify, there's a thing that, first you have to figure out how to get there. Then there's a logo that says, click this to get more layers. When you click more layers, then the stuff in Urbana Creek shows up. And then you can go down and everything that Mr. Tuning put together, including the pictures, is all
all
there. You
there.
can find it on your phone. And so I've left 2 messages with Kurt Smith, who was out of town last week, and haven't heard back. But in the messages I said, what we're asking for is to put it on their website so you don't have to do a minimum of 4 clicks to get to our location. In the meantime, the screen where if you click the logo that then would take you to the Urbanna things, I asked Dave Lipscomb to put on the UBA website as well as on our town website. So when you go to things to do in Urbana, those things should show up on our
Okay,
website.
good.
Great.
And so in terms of getting to the right spot, that's still more difficult than it should be. We can't control that other than pinging them to say it doesn't make any sense, especially since you can get to Middlesex County, but you can't get to Urbana. And so it seems like it wouldn't be that hard to just add one more thing that says Urbana that would at least take you to that, but
So it's still hard for the user to figure out, A, that it's there, and that once they know that it's there and they're looking for it, they still have to be really diligent in
well,
order to
right,
find
and,
it, which
and
is
what's
a shame.
almost worse is if you, when you look at the map that shows the different things like, somebody's landing or somebody's
Yeah.
steamboat launch or whatever, they have little icons on that map.
Mm-hmm.
For Urbana, there's like a red outline of the creek that is, about the size of the end of that pen on the map that
Yeah,
you see.
Right.
And unless you go to the add layers and click the Urbana Historic Trail, then all of a sudden there's like 28 little blue heads that show up within that little area that weren't there before. But everybody else has an icon that you can go to
And click on.
before you add layers.
And that's Deltaville, Middlesex, all of them. right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, what, and I don't know, I don't think this really fixes the website problem. And it sounds like you're pursuing something to try to make it easier for the user to find it.
Okay.
But-
I'll just pass that down.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I've seen it before.
okay.
Yeah, so
See how
I know
you can
what
see
you're
there's
talking about.
a green highlight to Urbana Creek. See it? but there's nothing in it.
Gotta
No.
really
So
enlarge
you
it.
wouldn't really know that there's anything there.
Correct.
I wonder, back again, if we don't have control over their website, and all we can do is,
Well, when you hit
is
add
nudge
layers-
them to do something that makes it more apparent if someone's trying to search, where could I kayak around here? Because otherwise
See,
they don't even know it exists.
This, he says, and
What
even
can
that's
we
not
do?
working.
What can we do
There.
on, to make it at least known?
See, then you have to click Urbana Historical Trail.
It's probably the Dave Lipscomb
I
question,
think
Mary.
putting it on the website
I think,
for the town.
I think
You see it?
putting it on the
I do.
website for the
Just
town.
Click that.
I think,
That's a good
I think
thing.
there needs to be a sign down there. We've talked about, Larry, we've talked
Hey.
about having a sign down there forever.
They can come to town, but they won't be.
Well, yeah, but then to
frustrating.
have a sign
4
and a
years.
sign that says, here's the URL for the site,
Right.
here are the steps, 1, 2, 3, I don't know, because we
seen it,
can't
Margaret?
control them.
Yes, I went through it and I was just clicking things and found it.
Yeah,
I couldn't
exactly,
just-
but you gotta,
Have a
you,
sign.
it's a minimum
Yeah.
of 4.
Yes, well, I did probably 10 and back and forth and then I found it.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
we
it-
don't-
It sorta does in that it's got a highlight.
Yeah.
But what
just-
you have to do is click this. Come on, which isn't responding on my phone. See how easy that is?
Not,
There,
not.
there we go.
Frustrating.
Then, if it responded to that, see, that won't even
It
come up.
won't come up.
And it's such a cool thing,
Anyhow,
such a cool thing.
if you
It's a
can
shame.
get that to click, then all 28 of those things, when you go
Yeah,
back
it's
to this screen,
Yep.
they will populate. And they're all there, but it's just a nightmare to get.
Well, I think that we need to take some active steps to not only try to get the waterways or whatever the site is,
Right.
to create a different view and fewer steps for users. But on our end, I think we need to get it on the website. We need to get signage down there that says, hey, here is this cool thing you're standing right in front of, and here are the steps you need to take in order to do it. And
Give them all
why
5
can't
of
we
the
get that
steps to
done?
get there.
That's,
we've talked for how many years now, Larry? 2 at least,
Yeah.
maybe 3, about needing signage down there for that.
Yep.
And it's just a shame. We've got assets, but who would know? Who would know that we've got these cool assets?
right.
And it's gonna be even better when we get the other 2
Yes.
trails done. and-
Right.
And I'm moving forward on that.
That's
It
that's
takes
amazing.
time, So,
So anyhow, that's the update on that.
well, let's keep pressing Kurt,
Yeah.
see what we can find out. I'll talk to him
And
as
I,
well.
Jackie Rickards is also another person that works with it. They don't handle the website, so they were gonna have to defer me to somebody else, but,
You keep
but-
going your direction. You seem to be making some headway.
so, anyhow, the base screen here should be showing up on our, website soon.
I honestly didn't think this was gonna be that much of a problem. But,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know how to fix this part. I can do the other part.
Right.
This I can fix.
And sort of on a separate thing, because somebody called with a question, I did have, or ask Dave to put that the Marshall Community Pool was at Tabor Park. Because it just said Marshall Community Pool, and people actually called up and wanted to know where the pool was.
Yeah, I've seen it on Facebook, wanting the address, so I
Yeah.
give them the Bonner Street address on there.
So, anyhow, that's all I've got. Any new business?
Nope.
All right, public comment, Ms. Enzavino.
I have 3 minutes, Martha?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, maybe I won't use it all. I'm Christy Anzavino, 350 Howard Street. I've been listening to this, how many public hearings do we have on the budget? So DMV was introduced then. I've been listening to all of the back and forth. We did not, I say we, meaning our town, when we addressed this, why did we go backward? Why did we do this so backward? Why didn't the finance committee understand and see this was happening back in January and February? that we were gonna be having to make a statement that we're gonna cut the DMV because we're not making any money. And it was done in such a benign way to the community. Nobody knew about it. It was very poorly put forth. People don't understand why you offer a service and then you take it back. Yes, losing money is not good. I'd say your budget looks pretty good. The town looks like they're in pretty good shape. So I do ask, if you're gonna cut DMV, the position goes away. But you're turning around and keeping Maribel in another position, so you didn't save any money as far as a staff person. You made the discontinuation of this service essentially in a vacuum. You did it without doing any of the other stuff that you've been talking about, that we're now talking about because we're going to the county. And yes, I don't blame the county for saying point blank no in the beginning. Now they're at least, thanks to Marjorie, our Councilman Austin, she's gone and she went to a VML conference. She found out some stuff. Council, you missed the greatest opportunity to have Michelle Gowdy, the executive director of the VML, here to speak to you about the positives of a DMV select. She was ready to come, and she's not coming now. You can see her letter in your packet. That was a big loss and a big opportunity to find out and ask questions from somebody who monitors the whole state. VML monitors the whole state, not just these little things around us.
30 seconds.
Basically, I just want to say one thing. I hope that something can come of it. I don't want the town to lose money, but we are in the beginning probably. But as long as you talk and try to find a way to come to an agreement on it,
10
try to
seconds.
make it come. If you don't ask, you can't learn, and the town cannot become a better version of itself.
Anyone have a comment? You are right that it could have been handled a little more delicately with more information. And we did try to save it in the budget, but didn't see a way to do that. It's my impression that Michelle Gowdy was offered the opportunity. We didn't tell her not to come, I don't think. I don't believe that she felt that she could add anything because she doesn't have any particular specific information with respect to DMV Select than just to say, as she said in her letter, that it is a much appreciated service for the communities where it sits. But as far as adding to that as a statement, it was my impression, and it's corroborated in her letter, that she felt that that was all she could say. The New Kent County Comptroller,
Commissioner of the Revenue.
what's that?
Commissioner of the Revenue.
Commissioner of Revenue, Mr. Costin reached out to, and we never heard back as to what their particular expertise was. But that's also why I presented the budget from New Kent County, where it would appear that with really almost 3 times as many people as Middlesex County, they're not making money. So they're doing twice the business? They're not even twice what our business is. And so they take it as a service and just accept the loss. So
Bill, may I make a comment? I changed my mind. Okay.
I'm pretty much done.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry.
it's
I'm
like,
sorry. I thought you were done.
yeah, you're right. We could have done a better job. There's no question about it. And as the guy, I'll take the hit on that, as both the finance committee member and the mayor. So,
I simply wanted to say that we have been talking about it in council working sessions and meetings since at least the first of the year at various times. And we have also talked about it last year when it came to the budget because, again, the deficit was similar last year. And so it was discussed before. This is not the very first time that we've discussed it.
What I remember from that meeting was that we said we would give it another year.
Yes.
Well, it hasn't even been here 2 years. June 28th made 2 years, and it was closed before the 2-year mark.
I was right at the 2-year mark, wasn't it?
June 28th was 2 years with the ribbon cutting.
Well, we're gonna lose a lot of money on the pools. We can't be losing a lot of money everywhere. I would like to say, I agree with you about the employee. I don't think we voted on that. Were we not supposed to vote on that? But I totally agreed with you on that. I didn't see where that was saving any money whatsoever. And I feel like we're a little top-heavy sometimes, and I didn't understand that decision, but it wasn't my decision.
Wasn't.
Well, we have a lot of needs, and we keep complaining about staff being too light, which I don't always agree with. But the young lady that we hired was excellent. Middlesex High School graduate, excellent. And I told the mayor, I said, I won't vote for getting rid of DMV if you want to get rid of her. And that's it, I wasn't gonna let that child go. And that's where I stood on it. And so I believe that, and all of her costs, some of that cost has come from water, not from taxpayers' dollars. But to even
That doesn't show that in
suggest
the budget.
that we should have done something different there. It's simply wrong.
Well, she's always been a town employee. She hasn't simply been dedicated strictly to DMV. So we've always had that expense for that position.
And also, every time we've tried to do something within staff, when I've talked about it, it's always, many times it's come down to the fact we just don't have the time to do it. I don't think we're heavy. I really don't.
I saw the look of confusion on some people's face when there was the comment that it was paid for largely out of water.
Because it
Bill,
doesn't
can you-
show that on the
Can you
budget.
explain
It's
what
not
that
showed
is, just so
split
that
up.
people aren't
Well,
confused on that?
Maribel came up as a discussion, but in the structure of the budget, the water is its own facility, and it has been divided amongst, well, it was Roy for a while, but also Michelle and Martha. And because we felt Maribel was important as a member of this staff, we sort of, in between finance and the other staff, decided that we would try to keep her on as a member of water and to shift some of those things that are shared responsibilities and consolidate them with Maribel. And so she has picked up not only the billing of water, but also has gone out with Steve to learn how to mark the lines, and has tried to integrate herself to take some of the burden off the other staff members. Is that going to work out in the long run? We don't know, but we felt that she was a valuable member of the staff, and that she has been useful to Michelle for sure, and I think Martha as well, to do different tasks that they don't have time for. And yeah, it's true that she could generate some income by being at DMV Select, but it was only like $16,000 coming in so far this year. And those numbers are up like, I don't know, 25, 30% from the year before. But for water to pay for itself, we'd have to have like 4 times the business.
Water.
You mean
No,
DMV?
yeah, DMV Select, I'm sorry.
So water is a different budget.
Water is,
And-
it's budgeted as a standalone
Yeah.
entity because
Right.
it's got
It's
its
not
own
general
income and
budget.
outgo.
Yeah. I just saw the looks on people's
Yeah.
faces.
One of the things that may have caused the drag on going to the county to begin with is that I've said this before, when we went to the county for pool money,
Yeah.
you know, it's a waste of time. You say, well, you don't know that, but
Well,
I've watched the county for years and years and years, how they've treated us.
Well, I didn't find it a waste of time. I talked to Anne Marie, and she asked what we
Anne Marie
needed.
is wonderful, so is Matt Walker.
She asked me what we
Yeah.
needed. She told me to
Free
get in
votes.
touch with the BOS, and I've done that. They're willing to hear us.
You've got to get the
So,
votes, Marge.
I understand that, but
Through
you
that.
can't, but you're not gonna, unless you get out there and show them and tell them what you need,
That's fine.
they may say no, and
I
if they,
vote- I
and no
voted
is
for
no.
this, but I wanted
So,
her to know
yeah.
where I was coming from. Yeah, I wanted
I
you to know.
understand completely.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
because that's a service that benefits the county.
It was brought for not just Urbana, this was brought for the community, and
Right.
that's what I explained. I don't think that Middlesex County understood that. They thought it was brought just here to Urbana. I don't think they understood that excuse me?
I just said it doesn't make logical sense because anybody can use it. So
Anybody can use
Why
it.
they would think it was just an Urbana
Because
thing doesn't make
because
sense.
Urbana always just does for Urbana. That's the comment that I got.
Ah.
So what I'm saying is they did not realize that it was a community-based service that was brought.
You had people in
So-
Delaware, didn't know we were, the select was here.
Right, but,
Mr.
so
Mayor?
after talking,
You had no council comment after public comment
Okay.
on the agenda.
All right. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
oh,
Yep, so we've broken with
that was
the,
a pretty interesting way to stop me.
I didn't mean to stop anyone, I'm just pointing out to the
Yeah.
mayor that there's
Okay.
a council comment section up front, but there's none after the initial public comment,
Yeah.
after the second public comment.
Well, we probably should make a motion to have a second council comment after the second public comment.
maybe the one council comment should be after both,
That's what I just said.
rather than having two. But,
You also have comments coming off the floor after public comment.
yeah. All right, so, since I overstepped our bounds collectively and individually, let's move on. Any announcements? Okay. We have added a closed meeting, and so.
And I'm ready to offer that, Mr. Mayor.
All right, do that, please.
Is there a motion to go into closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A3 for the discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose because discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body, purchase of 390 Virginia Street, and pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A8 for consultation with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel, just of 390 Virginia Street.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion?
No.
All right. Marjorie Austin,
Yes.
Larry Tuning.
Yes.
I say yes. Sandy Sturgill.
Yes.
Mary Hanson.
Yes.
And Alana Courtney. All right.